Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Market Movers, where we do live analysis for day trading and take a look at hotspots in the markets for the day. It is Friday, January 28th. I'm Todd Rich. I am with Nadex. With me, Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple. We do have some interesting things to discuss. We just had the inflation numbers, the PCE numbers, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. We're going to take a look at those numbers and how the markets have reacted to them. The equities all liking where the numbers were, interestingly enough. So we're trying to figure that all out. And then we'll probably take a peek over oil making a move, metals, gold still suffering after the Fed's announcement on the way they're going to start raising interest rates. Before Brian and I jump into it, I do need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. And this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your education purposes. I am going to drop that link out there to you so you can see what I am sharing. I am going to bring this up. We did have those PCE numbers. Yeah, we've got inflation. But it didn't, it ticked up a little bit. Maybe people are expecting that to be a little bit worse, but the core numbers came right in line. Maybe we were expecting that to be higher. I will say the personal spending down a little bit, although that also is in line with forecasts. Out of that, I mean, we did see an immediate reaction in the markets. And here's a picture of the S&P 500. We were looking to have a pretty red open. We are now looking to open actually in the green. We had a nice spike here in the last, in fact, here, let me drop it to 15 minutes and you can actually catch that 15-minute spike, which was rather interesting. So the market's initial reaction, positive to that news. But let's jump into it, Brian. I'm going to flip it over to you. Let's take a look at these numbers. Let's take a look at how the markets are reacting, and let's go through the equities first before we jump over to some of the commodities or maybe some FX, wherever else you think we might want to take a peek this morning.
Yeah, I mean, after the week we've had with different headlines and comments and things, it's actually a pretty tame Friday morning. Currency market, not really anything too crazy. We're seeing dollar strength again, which again, that's kind of been a more or less an expectation for what we were going to see. Reason why is because raising interest rates, right? It's a flight to safety. Rising interest rates, it makes it a lot more attractive. And again, the PCE, guess what? There's still inflation. It's still not transitory, but it came in as expected. So the market was really prepared for it. The way the markets are reacting right now, though, it appears that it looks like market sentiment was that it was going to be higher than what the prediction was. And again, PCE, we mentioned it yesterday. This one doesn't miss too often. If it does, it's only by like a little bit. When we're analyzing news releases, something like this, it's kind of like, I would say that this one is, and again, even though we're in a pandemic, you can see that, when it misses, it's only about 50% of the time. Where a lot of the other releases, something like oil, where it misses 95% of the time, a little bit different of a type reading. So, not necessarily surprised today. As far as the overall indices go, I mean, the VIX is up. It was up a little bit higher than this. I mean, the VIX is actually starting to collapse back down again because the news is out for the morning. The VIX itself was up about 10 minutes ago, not even 5 minutes ago. We were up a little bit higher. All the indices, for the most part, have been bouncing. ES is right here. Let's drop this down to a 15-minute chart. This is a level that we've seen price come off of before. We had one touch back here, and then again, a little bit of a confirmation, a little bit of a riskier trade, but at 7:45, it really took off, and 8:30 news sent it higher. So ideally, I would have liked it down here for the open. We'll see if we can retrace back down again. But with all the news off and Russia really not saying a whole lot today, I would say, overall, I would say it looks to be a little bit more of a positive day.
Actually, the news out of Russia, because I caught this about an hour ago, is they came out with, we don't want war and we don't like war.
Well, they said that yesterday, that they don't want war with Ukraine, is what they said.
Yeah.
They keep playing that one back again. That was, I already shut that one down.
But they are, they play politics with the troops at the border, but then they have backed off of their rhetoric. So I guess we'll take it where we can get it.
Yeah, until they back troops off, it's not that big of a deal because they can still just blow the whistle and send everybody across. So,
Yeah.
you don't send 100,000 people there if you're being a pacifist. It just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't?
Anyway, we're not seeing the troops have not gone over the border, so that's kind of the good thing. So again,
Yeah.
drop it down to 15 minutes. If we can get back in this level, we do have some testing, but it has been hit a few different times. We have 25 or 40 minutes to go before the open. Definitely some sellers above, but I would look out for kind of this very, very small level. If you look right here, and this is not a green, but this small level right here is kind of hidden behind a little racetrack. So if we're able to actually come up and break through this what is it? I'm sorry, not one. 43.56, it looks like there'll be a decent long higher. Overall, we had the level from yesterday that we'd mentioned, that 10 o'clock reversal area. It's not really an area I'd be focused on that much anymore. It's chopped through and it pushed it to the brink. I would say the next time we really have strong sellers stepping in is the 44.64.50. So we got a lot of room to run to the upside. One of the things that could potentially help that is Apple. I don't know if you guys saw Apple's earnings yesterday. Apple just absolutely demolished it. It just unbelievable. Like it's over. I just saw it down here. Apple revenues pop 11%. Even though there's supply chain issues and we can't get chips, but they still made, $123.9 billion with a B. And it's funny, you think about what was the auto bailout, and you can see that they made $123 billion. Yeah, so there's that. But they just blew it out of the water. So that'll be positive, and the market really hasn't had an opportunity to react to that. So that's great news that large companies are still able to make money, even in this environment when there's shortages. So again, I would say overall positive. NQ, right now, NQ is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're really hovering right around that 14,000, and it's marked, and you can see there's levels in there. We still have an alert set up at 14,536. The reason why this is stuck between a rock and a hard place, you're like, but Apple just blew it out. You're right. Apple blew it out. And again, the retail investor hasn't gotten an opportunity to do that. Apple's one bookend. The other bookend is Tesla. And I don't know if you guys saw Tesla yesterday. You may look at this and say, what happened to Tesla? Why is Tesla down? This is why Tesla is down. Elon says it's more important for Tesla to make robots than car models this year. So all you Cybertruck people out there with no door handles, there was no door handles because he doesn't want you to get in it because it's not real. So what is it? And if we don't have enough comedy already in our lives, this robot that he is really hyping up now, its code name is Optimus. So not that Omicron and the Transformers jokes weren't bad enough, but Elon says we're dumping cars, we're building robots, and by the way, it's called codename Optimus. Can't make this stuff up, guys. This is on CNBC.com. This is Elon. I don't know if it's too much sampling of the psychedelic mushrooms or what it is, but yeah. So Elon is now done with the truck, and we're in robot land. So yeah, the investors didn't like that one too much. So it's already been a day, but again, it's gonna kind of put NQ in a weird position right now. Like I said, I do believe overall that Apple will be able to kind of continue to drive this one higher. But Tesla coming back down to 829 is definitely going to hurt the NQ. So that one's going to be kind of a battleground today, more than anything else. And you can see it also had the pop off of that, off the news today. YM also had a decent pop. And again, it came off of an area that was pretty, it's been there before. Right, there's your level of basing. There's your test. There's your nice push off of it, and you can see that it hit it about 7:30 this morning. Right now, it's kind of in the middle of the range, and if we want to draw some fibs from that high to low, my fibs are off there. Wow, I'm gonna have to redo all my fibs. I'm not sure why this went crazy on me, but there, it all turned to red. This is what happens when you do stuff on your phone, guys. I'm just gonna put the 50 because that's all I care about right now. Yeah, so the 50 is in a very interesting spot. Right there is your 50, your 50% would be right there.
It's right at 34 right around 34,100.
34,150 is what I got. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right there. So again, there's your fib level, and again, we drive up a little bit more. Right now, we're kind of between those two areas on a 15-minute. We got 30 minutes to go. We'll see what we can do. But overall, I think those are the levels to watch out for. I will say, if this does manage to come down and break, and we do start to turn negative today, a break below 33,550-ish, we kind of got clear running. These two levels were old levels that we are looking at, so we can delete those. A little bit of buying coming in here, right, which is not really huge, and really the next little hiccups. You can see kind of where the hiccups are to the downside if this comes down in base. So I'd say right now, I'd like this for another long if it comes down. right into here. Was it 33,640? I think that's decent. I like the one candle bottom. I like the shape of it. I like the explosion off of it, and actually it started to take off a little bit early. But if we're able to break down and this price comes down below 33,554, I think you got to look to get short. And there's two profit targets at 33,420 and 33,163. Russell is the weakest on the day today, but again, it also had that same pop. We actually had a target in the Russell of 1884. 6 didn't quite get there, but is continuing to roll down again. You can see here if we use the same number of touches. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what broke. It started the base in there. It came back and touched it here. Here was your Harry Potter trade off of it. Right here, the drop, the base, the pullback, the touch, and we just hit it again, and magically that's what it's reversing off of. So
Right.
let's say right now, Russell looks the weakest. In reality, Russell should find a bottom somewhere around here, but again, our first target's going to not be down to 1884. So, and it's odd. VIX is down to 1.44. Everything is just slightly in the red. But again, lack of news out there should be helping us. And then again, we have this revised consumer sentiment number. Unless this goes really far down, we should be okay. Yeah. I mean, there's just not a lot of movement.
Let's jump over. Let's take a look quickly though at some commodities. I'd like to just take a peek at the energies. Oil and nat gas, and then
oil
gold too, getting just hammered.
Yeah, oil full-blown kind of rally mode again. Yesterday, we talked about having more or less a channel, right? We had our 3 touches bottom, 3 touches on the top, kind of channeling up. At 88.50, we talked about as being level where we had sellers coming in. And it ended up coming down. It kind of did a little bit of a bounce. And really just once it kind of hit this lower buying area, more or less just went sideways. The Europeans really didn't do too much with it. When we look to see where the European market was, 3 to 8.30 is right there. So, I mean, we had that spike at 8.30. And now we're back up right in that time of the 88.50 range. So, we're at 88.18 right now. We know that we have sellers kind of hiding right there, right? This is another attempt. It already pushed in there one time. If it can come up in base with a U.S. trader coming online, unless we turn and roll, which again on a Friday with oil, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think this could be the area. Today could be the day where we break through and even potentially get up to 89.
Oh my God!
But we'll see what happens in the next 30 minutes.
On
we'll
our
see
way
if
to
$90
a barrel. Holy cow!
$90 a barrel. Well, when you speak about, I mean, it's up 1% today before the U.S. trader got in. In regards to that as well, natural gas is up 9.25% today. They say, what the heck is going on with natural gas? Well, we have more snow coming to the East Coast. So we had to sneak it in at the last little bit, but this will be snowstorm number 4 in 1 month in 2022 so far. And again, I saw my wife yesterday. I was like, it's still 30 degrees outside. I'm like, this is the coldest snap we've had for a winter in 5 years, 6 years, something like that, where we've had our cold days for a couple, but I feel like we've had like 2 weeks now of like freezing-ish temperatures. Kind of crazy. But yeah, natural gas is just absolutely surging as well. And again, it held at that 50% level yesterday, continued to push back and forth. And then what did it do? It Harry Pottered right over it here, as well as this is kind of an up and down, but here's your base and your takeoff. And now it's on its target path, heading even higher right now, up to $4.82. So it's moving. Gold.
I will say this about nat gas. I'm just glad that it came off those levels when it was in the 5s and 6s, where you were able to finally fill up your tanks.
I didn't fill it up at 650. I filled it up,
Yeah, no, it came back down, and you got to fill it up at a reasonable price. I'm just saying, I'm glad you were able to do that. It gave you that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know what person. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's like, "You're going to buy it at 650." I was like, "Oh no, I'm not," and I did not. So
I'm just glad you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I know. Gold. So gold continued to deteriorate. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right in this level right here, right around 1807. And we talked about 1800 would be a big psychological number. We talked about having basing there. And we're looking for somewhat of a base or a pullback to that level. You can see we ended up hitting it. And this is the same run from yesterday. And what did we see? A drop down, a base, and then it pulled back up in the overnight session and then continuing to drive lower. So it's actually hit our profit target to the downside. Another one of those Harry Potter trades, that little lightning bolt trade in there. I would say we have another opportunity for another Harry Potter because we had this racetrack sitting right here. You guys see this zone right here? This is a large spike up in price. We do have a level of basing that was tested but pushed literally to the brink. With that said, bring it across. We're sitting. Let's bring this all the way across. Let's bring this over right here. Let's set this up for a short position. And I would say at this point, if gold is able to break through, and again, it is Friday, so we may have some slowing. This may actually be a Sunday night more position. We only need 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So this would be a break of basically 1775. I'm so close. Let me just put it on 17. So that the OCD that I don't have will kick in. And then again, dropping that down to this level at 1763. So another Harry Potter trade set up in the destruction of gold. And then again, silver is pretty similar as well. It's not down even more today. I mean, it is down another 0.8%, almost 1%. But again, we had our target. We weren't looking for another short really until we got into the 22 range. So we're 22.55. I don't think silver is going to give us enough action today. I think again, it's kind of consolidating a little bit now. I think over the weekend, if we can get this a little bit lower, there could be a short going in the next week. One thing I'm kind of excited with silver here is as we continue to get this destruction in silver, with it being the start of the week, gives us the ability to get into some of the longer duration Nadex contracts. So that's one of the good things about seeing where we are. Had you been in gold for the week, Monday was the 24th. The 24th was right here. So I mean, you talk about a week-long position with FOMC, knowing they were going to talk about interest rates. That is what are we talking here? From where we open, $70. That's $70 down in gold this week in a longer duration contract. So again, week-long planning is definitely something you can still do with Nadex. It's not just about intraday kind of trade setups. So
we got it. We got them all. We got both of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's Friday. With that, any questions for Nadex, please email us, customerservice@nadex.com. Questions for Brian, support@keeptradingsimple.com. You can email him. I am also available. There's my email address, todd.rich@ig.com. It is Friday. It has been a long week. We did get those inflation numbers this morning's initial market reaction. Let me just take a peek. We did rally up a bit. We were looking to get into the green. Now we're drifting back into the red a little bit, but at least it did take back a big chunk of the overnight sell-off. Brian and I will be back on Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad you guys are all here to join us. We will stay warm this weekend, and we will catch you Monday. Good luck in the markets.